of students. I have in the past know that teachers pay teachers, or they have a curriculum where they have PDFs available to them from the curriculum, or they've just scanned in different worksheets that they've used in the past. So those resources that you have, it's nice to be able to take advantage of those. It's nice to be able to use the PDFs you have, especially with your students. But we're going to look at a few different PDFs editors today online, and you can kind of use all of them together or separate depending on what you need. But we're going to start off with probably my favorite PDF editor, and it's called Google Slides. Has anyone in the house ever used Google Slides? Probably all of you. You need to answer that question. I was just, Anyway, well, here we go. I'm just going to go right in my drive, and it's best practice to kind of create things from your drive. That way you're a little more organized. I'm going to go to my PDFs folder, and I'm going to create a Google slide in there, and I'm going to add that into Google Slides, and then they'll be ready to go. So I'm going to click New at the top, and then go right to Google Slides. I'm not going to mess around. We're going to get right into it. And here we go. We have a Google Slides presentation ready to go. So with Google Slides, what you'll notice is with a Google Slide, you can move things anywhere, which is really nice. So having a PDF here is awesome because you can kind of put it wherever you want and then use the tools in Google Slides to edit that PDF. There are plenty of tools in Google Slides. You see you've got plenty of word tools, and you also have this little section here where it says line. If I go to the bottom, there's a scribble section, and I can actually start scribbling if I wanted to, use that little scribble and draw amazing things. So anything that you require your students to kind of draw or kind of annotate, you can have them do it in Google Slides. So I'm going to show you now how to add a PDF in Google Slides. Okay, so I have the PDF on my computer. I want to add it to Google Slides, and then I can share it in Google Classroom, and then my students will have a copy of it, and they can start using my PDFs that I have. So there are two ways to do this. I'm going to recommend one way. The other way is a little bit messy. I'm going to recommend the background, that you use background. So this is how you're going to insert your PDF. But you have to get that PDF first. So I'm going to actually go and find a PDF I want to put into the Google slide. I actually have one in this PDF folder. So I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to open up my PDF. This is a Chapter 1, Unit 8, 1.8 Study Guide and Intervention page. It's an algebra worksheet that I've used, that teachers use in the past. And they really like it, and they want to be able to use it. Otherwise, right now, it's kind of useless. It's a little bit more difficult to get students the actual physical piece of paper. So I'm going to take this and put it right in Google Slides. And this is how I'm going to do that. I've got this PDF opened right in my Google Drive. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of it. So I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot. I'm on a Mac. So the screenshot option I like to use the best is Shift Command and then 4. And then that changes my screen to this little kind of compassy looking thing. If you do have a Mac, all you need is to click and kind of drag the area you want to take a screenshot of. And I've set the screenshot to go right into my desktop. If you're on a PC, you have what's called the snipping tool. It works just like this, and you can save it right on your computer. If you're on a Chromebook, there's also a screenshot option as well. It's a shortcut. Okay, I've taken that screenshot, and what it's going to do now is allow me, because it's a screenshot, it's actually just an image, I can put it right into Google Slides. So I'll go right into Google Slides, and then I'll show you, I guess I'll show you both the way, so you can kind of choose to do it on your own. Up at the top, there's an insert option. If I go to that insert option, I can click image, and then I will click upload from my computer, because that's where that screenshot exists. And here we go. It's ready to go. I can make it a little bit bigger, and then I can kind of have my students either use the scribble option to kind of draw on it, or I can use the text box option and have them type it in. And we'll go with x equals here. you kind of have to make it so that they know that they have to resize it, and they have to adjust the text so that it fits within the context of their worksheet. But I can have them type in their answers right here, and that's totally fine. The only issue with this is an image, and students can accidentally move it if they click on the wrong thing. So I don't prefer this way, just because it's easy for students to accidentally move it, and then they have to do the undo button a couple times. You might often do that if you check their work on Google Slides, but the way I recommend is really the background button. Every Google slide has the option to give you the option to change the background. So I'm going to change the background now, and then you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go to background, and then it gives me an option to change the color if I want, and then the image. So I'll go to choose image, and I'll upload and browse from my computer, and here it is. There's that screenshot I took of that math worksheet. But the only thing is, when I put it in there, it's going to look a little weird, just because the size of the slide is a little different. So I'm going to click open, and you can see it's not going to look nice. Done. It does not look nice whatsoever. So what we need to do is click undo and try that again. We actually need to change the size of the slide. So I'm going to go to File, and then go to Page Setup. It's right there in File. And when I click on Page Setup, I have this option to change the slide and how it looks like. Right now it's 16:9. It's made for like a computer screen display or a nice TV. So I'm going to click on that little drop-down triangle here, and then I get the option to change it. I'm going to click on Custom, and I always forget what size a regular piece of paper is. I think it's like 8 by 11.5 or something like that. And then I'll press Apply, and it looks much more like a piece of paper. So now I can go ahead, after I've sized it, I've changed the size of the Google slide. I can go to Background, go to Choose Image, Browse, and then click that worksheet right there, and then done. So you see it looks a lot nicer now. Students can zoom in if they want. They go to View, they can zoom in and maybe go 100%, or even further if they want, if they have old or bad eyes. Like I have terrible eyesight, but there we go. So zoomed in, it looks a lot nicer. Still kind of a little grainy, but for the most part, students will be able to read it, and they can zoom in as much as they want. So now what they can do is they can click on that text box, and then they can start to answer the equation, put it in whatever spot they want, get the right kind of size for it. K equals, and of course this is going to be a completely wrong answer, but I'm just going to put a random number. So it is right there. I didn't even read if that's what I was supposed to do. But anyway, you can see that they can edit right there. They can add in different things and move it around all they want, because you're not restricted to space. In the Google slide, you can kind of just go anywhere and start to add different things. So you can see that students can scribble too if they wanted. If they prefer that, they have that option there. But that is how you would edit a PDF on a Google slide. See, there might be a question. I've used this method previously. When I create the text box, I put click here to answer. And yes, so that is a good thing that you might want to take advantage of. If you might want to add the text box for them, so you're not depending on them to put it in the correct spot. So what Kelsey is referring to is a shape. So if you click on shape, and then you click shape, you can click a square. That seems like the most likely shape to use. And then kind of just drag it out like this. And then you can kind of say answer here. And you can change the size up for them. And then they have a little box where they can kind of insert their answer. Yeah, so you can do a text box. I just like the shape a little bit better, just because I can change the color a little bit, and I can make it a little more viewable. If you want to do the text box like Kelsey's referring to, you can click on that T, and then it works almost exactly the same way. Then they would just have to click on that answer here part, the box comes up, and they put their answer right in there. So that is the PDF on a Google Slide. The reason I like a PDF in a Google Slide is because when I was a 6th grade ELA teacher, I often use, well, not often, all the time, I use Google Classroom. So it's easy to go to Classroom to classwork, and then just to create an assignment and then add in any type of Google file, like I'll add in that slideshow that I just made for them. And then what I can do is I can make a copy for each student, and then they're ready to go. So they can work right on the Google slide. They can start putting their answers in. I can take advantage of the PDFs I've had. Now, and to be fair, because you're using this method, you would have to insert all the pages yourself. You can't do multiple pages at a time, or not very easily. So you would have to go into that. Once you change the size of your slide, you have to click down several new slides if you wanted multiple sheets of paper, multiple PDFs. Then you'd have to go to that background again, choose the image, and then once you're done, then you would add that onto Google Classroom or send it to your students, and they can work on it from there. You can see that this page looks a little nicer than this one. This is because this is a digital worksheet, whereas this one was scanned from a piece of paper. So if you have any digital worksheets, it generally looks a little bit better. Okay, any questions about Google Slides and PDFs? If you do have them, feel free to unmute your mic if you want. This is a good time to ask, or if you want, you can put it in the chat, and I'll kind of discuss it from there. But yeah, this is the easiest way for me to get it to my students because it's free, and all computers, all laptops have a screenshot option, and you don't even have to save the PDF on your actual drive. You can Google search different worksheets if you want. You have what's called fair use. So as long as you're not profiting off of any of the materials and the people that put it up there, you can definitely use it with your students. So you have that. All right, cool. The next one we have is what's called PDF Candy. Now this one is another resource that you can use that is a little bit different. We have one quick question, it looks like, about Google Slides. How do you format a shape? Phyllis, can you clarify? Do you mean how do you insert one in a Google Slide? If that's what you mean, you kind of just put the shape in, and then to format any of the text in there, it's just like regular. You can add the text in there, you can highlight it, and you can change the font if you want. You can change the color. It's just like regular. You would just have to select the actual.
I just want to know how can you change the color in the line?
Okay, perfect. So
different.
Okay, yeah. I'll click on. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the clarification. I'll click on the box, and then up at the very top, there are two options for this. You have border color, and then you have fill color. So if you wanted to make it brighter and whatnot, so your students can see it, maybe this nice green color, and then that's actually not a nice green color. It's kind of pukey. Don't use that. And then the border color, of course, you can click on that, and we'll change it to a bright red so you can kind of see. So there we go. Awesome. So make sure you choose a better color than me, Phyllis. That's a terrible color. Okay. So now we have PDF Candy. This is another one that is a completely free tool. It's made by people who just want to give you something completely free. Now, this is a more for you option. This is a little more difficult for students to use, but if you needed to edit a PDF, kind of make it your own or whatever, this is a good option for you because it's completely free. And it does a couple of things that others don't allow you to do. For here, whatever you do, you can kind of edit the actual PDF in a sense with all these different buttons. So each one of these buttons do a different thing. If you wanted to merge two different PDFs, all you would need is to click the button, then add the files and go through the steps, and it will show you how to do that. If you wanted to convert a PDF into Word, you could do that too. And this is one that some of you might take advantage of, because Google Docs does allow you to convert PDF into different files and whatnot. So if I click on PDF, I'm going to click on Add real quick, and I'm hoping to be able to find a PDF that I used last week. Should be right here. Yeah, so I have a PDF right here of just a report. So I'm going to click on that and click Open. And what's going to happen is it's going to convert it for free right into a Word document. And I can choose to download right to my drive if I wanted. I can click that download button. Of course, I didn't choose to download to drive, so I'm just going to pull this Word file over right into my drive now, so you can kind of see. It was a PDF before, now it is a completely editable Word document that Google can edit. So I can click on it, I can see it, and it looks pretty nice. All I have to do to edit it is go to Open with Google Docs, and I can edit this PDF. There you go. It looks pretty nice. It looks just like the original copy. It pulls in simple text documents, PDFs like this, pretty easy. So if you're teaching ELA, you have a couple PDFs you want to use and you want your students to edit it or annotate the text, PDF Candy is perfect for doing that because it changes it right to a doc, and a doc is a lot easier to use than your regular PDF. Now, what doesn't transfer over as well is anything that is numbers or has complicated images like this. This would not transfer over well to that convert. It would not do that very well. So for PDF Candy to use the actual convert to Google Doc or convert to a Word document, it has to be just plain text. Now here you have other options too that you can kind of explore at your own time. What I think is really helpful is they do have an edit PDF section here, but it's still a little bit difficult to use. So I would have to go into this edit PDF button and then click add file like I regularly would. I'll find the PDF that I want to edit, and it'll upload it, and it'll kind of allow you to edit from here. And so I guess you could send students to this website, and they do have options like this, like highlight option, where you can have students click on that and then draw the box for the highlight, and they can highlight that and annotate it that way. They have a strike through, which is a little more difficult to use than, say, something on a Google slide, but they have text as well where they can start to add in text. And then it would exist right there. Now it's a little bit more difficult. As you can see, it wasn't as easy to move any of this as Google Slides, but it's another way for you to edit PDFs. I wouldn't really recommend this to be used with students too often, just because it's a process to get it to you. What I mean by that is when I'm done editing this, I click Apply Changes. It takes a little bit of time, but now what's going to happen is your students would have to download it and then put it on their drive and share it to you. So it doesn't actually work as well with students. Why I'm recommending it to you is maybe you might find that you need to edit the PDF before you prepare it for your students. Say you only want a certain page or something like that in a PDF. It does allow you to delete pages. So if I clicked on that delete pages from PDF, I'm going to be allowed to do that, and I'll show you real quick. I'll click that add file again, and I'll go right to that worksheet 5 that I've been using, and you notice it's 2 separate pages. I can just click on the page and delete it, and this will delete it for me. And it's got this countdown, so it'd be a perfect time now for you to take a coffee break. And if you have been to any of my other trainings, I take coffee breaks. And there we go. It's deleted. It's done. It's ready for you to download and ready for you to use with your students. All you have to do is click download. The PDF is ready. And there we go. Just 1 page. So now you can take a screenshot of this and put it right into your Google slide and whatnot. And that isn't as practical because you choose your pages anyway. So you're probably wondering, why are you showing me delete pages option on PDF Candy, which I think you might utilize. There are other things you might utilize as well, but you can kind of explore that on your own time. This is just kind of a utility tool. Think of it as that you can kind of use to meet your needs when you need it. So keep that in mind. PDF Candy is a good resource for to use, especially if you use it with this next resource, which I think you're really going to like. This is called Cami, and this is probably the easiest and I don't want to say best, but the easiest option for you to edit PDFs. It's an awesome option for your students as well, but that is paid for. I don't usually want to talk about paid for things, but in this case, I am going to mention it. So I'm going to paste the link for PDF Candy right in the chat. So you have that at your disposal. You can use it when you see the need to. But the next one I'm going to talk about is Cami, and it is a really good PDF editor. On the teacher side and student side, most of you will probably not shell out the bucks for the students, but I'll show you what it can do. Okay, so I'm at this Chrome web store, and I've gone to the Cami extension. It's a PDF and document annotation tool. Lots of positive reviews. It runs offline, so it's a great tool. I've already added it to my Chrome, so that's why it says remove from Chrome. And you can see, you might have noticed at the very top right, there's actually a K with a circle around it. It's the Cami icon. And once I've gone through the steps and download, all I need to do is click on that K, and it's going to open up Cami. I'm on a premium trial right here, so I can show you the premium features, but you have a good set of free features as well. From here, you have the option to split and merge. You have the option to open from Google Drive. You have the option to open from computer, and you have the option to create a classroom assignment, which is a premium option, or you can start from a blank page. I'm going to open from my Google Drive, so I'll click on Open from my Google Drive. And I'll go right into my PDFs folder under Work 2020. And I'll click this worksheet that I've kind of been showing you. I'll click on that and I'll select Open. And here we go. Opens it up very nice. Looks pretty good. Because it's not a screenshot, it looks a lot better because it's the original PDF file. And from here, you as the teacher can start kind of editing it. As the teacher, you have, in the free version, you have the select tool, you have the markup tool, the text box, and the comment box. You do not get the equation button, which is kind of nice for you math teachers because it's a premium, a premium feature. And then, of course, you get the drawing and limited shapes and erasers. You do not get the image option or signature option for the free version. So I'll just show you how Cami works. It's very simple. I'll start with markup. If you click on markup, you have various options here. You have the text highlighter. If I click on that, I can change from different highlighting options. So I'll keep it at that yellow, and I'll just start. I'll click on that, and if I drag it out, sorry here. This is not making my point across that it's easy to use, but it is easy to use. When it senses text a little bit better, you'll be able to use it. You have the box highlighter, which I will probably use because there's no actual text on here because it was originally a worksheet. But I can see here, because this was originally a worksheet and not some typed up PDF, I have to use the box highlighter, and that works very well. You can click and drag, and then things will begin to highlight. You have strike through and underline, which won't work as well here because all this is a scanned-in worksheet. And then the comment option, which some of these are going to be premium, but the text comment is the free one. With the freemium features, you can choose to voice comment, you can add a video of yourself, and then you can do a screen capture for your students. So I'm going to click on text option because that's the free version. And then I'm going to click like in Google Docs. I can click and add a comment. Make sure you read the directions. All right, and then that exists right there, and my students will see that if I give them this PDF to edit. Of course, if you go with the premium version, you think you're interested in that, you have this voice comment option. where you can kind of click on it and add in that voice comment. It says click on any text to kind of make an audio comment. And I can click on that piece of text. And now you can see that it's recording my voice. And I'll press stop. And the comment exists right there. And you can see that this audio belongs to this little point. Piece of text, and now you can see that it's recording. It doesn't make my voice sound any better. It's just, you know, my regular voice. But you can have a video comment. Of course, works the same way. You add in a point of interest. You press allow, and there I am. I can record myself, which I won't do, but I'll do it so you can see. Testing, testing. 1, 2, mic, testing. Done, finished, ready to go. Press allow, and there I am. All right, there we go. A wonderful piece of video footage for all to see. And then you have the screen capture option. You can capture the screen, and it looks like you have to add that to Chrome. It's a different extension, so I'm not going to do that right now. But yeah, that's options there for you to explore. And then, of course, the text box option as well. If you click on that, you have the option to just click anywhere on the screen, and then it's going to allow you to type in whatever answers you want. Of course, you can, for your students, I suppose, do the awesome Kelsey option of add answer here, and then send it to your students to kind of edit that way. Or you can just allow them to kind of use the text box on their own and then click everywhere they want. Okay, question real quick. Were the voice and video options in the free version? No, they're not. They're not in the free version. The voice and audio option are in the paid for version. And I'll kind of go over Cammy's. It's rather expensive. I think it's at least $100 a year. But if I don't get to it during this training, then I will send a follow-up email kind of explaining all that good stuff. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go over the equation one. I think it's very simple. You just kind of, these are different symbols that you get to insert, and it's very math friendly because you have all the different symbols. But if you click on it, you can kind of insert it just like regular text. So you can see here, I'll start inserting a lot of different symbols. Looks like something from the National Treasure movies, it looks like. Okay. So that's the equation button. That's a freemium. Now I'll click on the drawing. The next option is to do a drawing. You have the level of transparency that you can edit, the thickness of the stroke, and then of course the color. And it's very nice, and it's super easy to use for students. They can highlight this way as well, and they can edit these PDFs just like that, or you can edit them if you wanted to. You can take a PDF like this and cross out whatever you don't want students to do, and cross that out and cross that out, and you only want them to do certain questions. Then once you're done editing it, once you're done adding your fun shapes or whatnot, once you're done erasing whatever you don't want to exist, you have it ready for students, say, and then what you can do is click that download button or that save button. I'm going to click that download button, and I'm going to send it right to my Google Drive. I'm going to give it a name. Practice 1, and then select the folder. It's going to allow me to select a folder for my Google Drive, and I'm going to put it right in PDFs. And select that folder, and then I'm going to begin the export, and it's going to save right to my Google Drive. I'm going to click open right now. And that PDF is ready for my students to use. So you can see my annotations right there, my wonderful annotations, so they know to skip 10, 11, I assume 13, and 15, and they'll just work on the other problems. So you can use Kami that way, where you can kind of edit the PDFs like this to kind of guide your students to specific questions if you want. Kami is free for you to use and edit. But in order for your students to edit, you do need the paid for version. Let me check on the price real quick. All right, so here are the educational plans. Cami for teachers and students, it looks like $100, and you get all the premium features. And really the biggest ones are these two, the Schoology and Google Classroom features. There's Canvas, of course, too, but Michigan doesn't really use Canvas all that often. And of course, there's different school plans, so you can talk to your admin. I don't usually like to talk about paid for things, but what Cami does really well, though, is that Google Classroom integration. I'll kind of show you that. So I'll go to my Google Classroom. I'm going to go right into my 6th grade ELA first hour, and I'm going to go to my classwork section. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add a Cami assignment. So I'm going to go to Create, and I'm going to click on Cami. And here we go, just like a regular kind of Google Classroom assignment. I'm going to put PDF practice 1, and then I'll put some directions, really great directions. I'll add a point total. It's 10,000 points. And no due date. Topic, of course, this is going to go under my citing evidence topic. And then this is where it gets really fun. I'm going to click on this, one of these two options. You have the drive option, you have the little pin option. And when you click on that clip, paper clip, you can add your PDFs. And I'm going to add the text PDF from earlier because this is ELA class. I'm going to click on report and open. And from there, it is loading. There we go. So it's loaded. And what's really neat is this is the option I think that Google Classroom shines in the most. And my favorite option in Google Classroom. And it's this option right here. Now, this PDF that I just added, it's going to make a copy for each student. Now, I can, have them share one copy, or I can have all students edit one copy, but it's best to have a copy for each student. And what Cami allows you to do in Google Classroom is it allows you to make every student a copy, just like a Google Doc or a slide or a Google Sheet. And you can, of course, with every Cami assignment, you can choose to send Cami instructions to students. This just walks them through how to use Cami. So I'm going to leave that on, and I'm going to press Assign. And there we go. Again, this is an ample time for you to hydrate. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and show you in the Google Classroom. It's right there like a regular assignment. You can see it, PDF Practice 1. I just created it, and I'm going to click on it. And this is what students will see. My directions, which are awesome, very detailed. And then I have the Cami PDF, and I have the directions. So the directions are right here. So just click on it, and it just walks them through how to use Cami, how to add Cami so they're able to use it. Cami is it's an app that Google promotes in their kind of apps that work with Google Classroom link, and so it's safe for people to use. Yeah. So once they go through that and they walk through that, maybe in the fall when you have time to model with them and kind of walk them through how to use things like that, you can walk them through physically in class. Then they can know how to do it at home. You can use it offline, I believe. But now they're done. They're good. Let's just assume they know how to use Cami. They've gone through those directions. So they're going to click on that PDF that I just assigned to them. And they can preview it now the way it is. But now there's a new button up top. There's Open with Cami. And when I click on Open with Cami, it is going to open this up for my students, just like I saw earlier. So if they had, and of course, since the classroom option, the Google Classroom option is a paid for version, they're going to have everything. So they're going to have the option to mark up the text. They're going to have the option to highlight the text. And since this is actual text, it's easy for them to highlight. They have the option to add in text comments and whatnot. And what's really great is, since this is a Google Classroom assignment, it creates a copy for each student. You're actually going to be able to go into their specific PDF and see what they've done. And when they're done with this, they can turn it back into you. So when they're done kind of annotating the text, adding in comments for the text and whatnot, they can say, the main idea was really weak here, because they can add in that text box and kind of just put it by the paragraph they want, or they can actually use the comment option. They can use the voice comment, they can use a video comment, and then you can have that exchange with your students right in Kami if you want. Just threw a lot at you. Kami is actually an awesome app. It does cost money, like I showed you, but if you saw a place for Kami, if you had a lot of PDFs you wanted to use, if your curriculum that your school uses has a lot of PDFs for you to take advantage of it, it might be something you want to consider trying out, at least the 30-day trial. I believe Kami right now gives out their stuff for free. Of course, you have the 30-day free trial, but you do have the option for remote learning. They're giving you school-wide free upgrade, and if you click on that link, it's pretty easy to request that school-wide upgrade, so all your staff can use it. But that's something you can take advantage of very easily if you want to learn now. I know it's the last week of school for many of you, so you won't have that, but upgrades are available until June 30th. So if you want to try it out, you want an extended kind of demo for your school or your or just for you, there is a remote learning kind of special going on with Kami right now, and I'll post that right in a follow-up email, and I'll post that right in the chat right now. But Kami, a very great option if you're using Google Classroom, especially to kind of see at a glance what your students are doing. You can see that I've gone right into that Kami assignment that I created. I can see that Kathy and CJ Walker, they're not related. I just chose two people with the same last name, but I can click on their specific assignment. I can see what they've done, and right now they've done nothing, but there's an option to go right into Kami from here and to look at their assignment as well. And CJ hasn't done anything, obviously, but this is CJ Walker's report. Okay, any questions about Kami? There might be a few. There might be some. No. All right. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, to be honest. I think it's the most simple and best editing tool for PDFs. But there might be a time when you need something PDF Candy has, and PDF Candy has more options to kind of logistically arrange PDFs. But Kami, to just simply edit it like this, is the easiest option. As you can see, very easy, very user-friendly, easy to store, easy to save, easy to download. All right, that's kind of all I had for you today. Those are kind of the three I chose to talk about because I think it applies to you as educators. But that is what I have. If you will, real quick, if you have any questions, I'll stick around for a bit. But there is a evaluation form where you can suggest different things. If you fill that out, that's one way that I'll be able to send you a follow-up email. So you may not get a follow-up email if you don't fill out that evaluation. So please fill out that evaluation so I can send you an email with all the links, so I can send you the resources and whatnot, and any type of code information. Kami's this website right here where you get that free demo. But yeah, otherwise, have a nice day. I'll stick around for answers. Please fill out that short, very short evaluation form. Okay. Okay, quick question. Yes, no problem. Trisha, if you want to set up like a video conference type thing or meeting, just let me know. Just email me and we can set something up. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Nancy. Thanks for the kind words. I'm glad it wasn't too terrible. Thanks for coming. Yeah, no problem. Make sure to email me with days that work best for you, and I'll kind of see which day I can fit in, which time period and whatnot. All right. Yes, thanks for all for coming. If you need anything else, I'm still here for a little bit. It's just me, so goodbye.